What should we eat?
Personal favorite, fried Snickers.
Ah! What is that? How does that taste?
Oh, it's delicious.
That was pretty damn good.
Fried candy bars, butter sculptures, and prize pigs.
You want out now?
Maybe. He's eating my Snickers. He's like actually biting them.
Welcome once again to the Iowa State Fair.
A lot of country music, a lot of really good country music.
And meet Rob Sand, a fifth-generation Iowan and an influential Democrat in the state.
Well, where else can you see a sculpture made out of butter, right? I mean, which is why I always say, if you want to see something truly exotic, come to Iowa.
Every 4 years, this annual celebration is invaded by whoever is running for president.
Good morning. It is great to be with y'all in Des Moines at the Iowa State Fair.
The Des Moines Register puts a soapbox out, and candidates get 20 minutes to say whatever they want.
I want to talk to you this morning about what we're going to become as a nation.
This time around, with more than 20 candidates running,
There he is.
the fair is insane.
Foreign Affairs, Armed Services, Homeland Security's committees, meeting with leaders of other countries.
If these politicians are here to tuck into greasy eats and wonky policy talk with actual voters,
And said, you know, when you're talking, you start off.
they're being hemmed in by, well, a bunch of reporters.
I think people, if they're picking a president, they expect that that person is able to come to a place like this, walk around with ordinary people, and seem like a regular human being.
You're the state auditor here in Iowa, but you're texting with presidential candidates. Why do people want to talk to you?
Slightly awkward question to ask an Iowan, because if I'm going to answer that question, I have to say nice things about myself. I'm the only Democratic statewide elected official under age 65. I mean, I was the first Democrat to beat a Republican incumbent in Iowa in 34 years. I had the need to go all over the state. And I think they want to hear that advice from me, and also, as they do with anyone in the state of Iowa, if they can get an endorsement, they're interested in that too.
What he's saying in his Midwestern way is that being elected to this particular position is a super big deal here. In a place that swung hard for President Trump in 2016, Sand was able to flip the seat for the Democrats.
Thank you very much. Hello, Iowa. Good to see you all. We have to restore the soul of this country. When we saw coming out of Charlottesville, that hate and that venom that we saw, and then the president saying, when asked about the groups that met him as well as the young woman when she was killed, what did he think about it? He said there were very fine people in both groups. And then the president
He started off talking about Charlottesville. Is that something that people in this crowd care about?
I think everybody cares about that. I think the idea that people in rural areas aren't concerned about racism is totally wrong-headed. The thing to think about it is that people in rural areas don't necessarily have a lot of experience with racism, right? Meanwhile, if your hometown that you're living in has a factory half a mile out of town that's been empty for 20 years, that does resonate a lot more with people.
He did talk about the economy. He talked about not giving any more tax breaks to the wealthy, and he got a pretty big cheer from this crowd when he said that.
I think it's something that middle-class Iowans care about. I think people understand that income distribution, we have more inequality now than we've ever had before, and people are feeling it.
How is it possible that a $1 trillion tech company paid less in taxes than everyone here today?
The soapbox talk still feels like a stump speech, and the fair may feel like a media mess. But the value is that it's not an event organized by Democrats or Republicans or special interest groups. Anyone can show up, and candidates should be able to talk to all of them.
When you come to the Iowa Fair, you are getting every kind of person here. And so in those moments where you aren't walking around with a big scrum, then you're going to talk to totally ordinary people who are not necessarily the most tuned in on politics.
And what's the best way for these candidates to talk to those people?
It totally depends on who you're talking to. Because you don't know who you're talking to, you have no idea. There is no rule, and I think that's part of why coming here is a good test for people.